craziest thing someone's ever lied to you about for attention?
When my best friend was a freshman in college, she became friends with another freshman who was only 16. This girl had been through a lot in her life and she almost died, which was why she was in college early. She was basically trying to live as much life as possible because she had childhood cancer. This girl's life story was heart-wrenching. One night we went to the library on campus and she ended up opening up to us and telling us the whole story, and she literally had gotten to the point of having to plan her own funeral at one point because the doctors were saying that she wasn't going to make it and her parents couldn't handle it. It took 3 hours for her to tell us the whole story, and it was an emotional roller coaster. We were all crying, and she had had multiple surgeries, which we saw the scars for and everything, one of which was a full-blown hysterectomy because the cancer was in her uterus and her ovaries. It was really bad. Cut 2 years down the road, and my friend finds her on Facebook and sees that she had been pregnant and had a child with no ovaries or uterus.
Okay, what's the craziest thing someone's ever lied to you about for attention?
Let's talk about Go Fast. Met this girl freshman year. We were friends. We were in the same friend group. She came from a troubled background. She lived with her aunt because she'd been kicked out by her stepfather, who had also cut off all contact between her and her family. She'd managed to get back in contact with her sister through Instagram, and that's how she found out about halfway through the year that her stepfather had beaten her mother so bad that her mother died of internal bleeding. Then, second to last day of school, she tells us that her 13-year-old sister was raped by her stepfather and is pregnant, and her stepfather wants to keep the baby. She told us not to tell anybody that this couldn't get out, but because we were concerned, we went to our school counselors, told them everything. We had her sister's name and last name and school, and they got in contact with the counselors at that school, got in contact with her sister, and that is how we found out that this girl had been lying about everything. The one true thing was that she was living with her aunt, but her mother was alive, her sister was fine. None of the terrible things and abusive things that had happened in her household had actually happened.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
So when I was 12, I woke up one day and had really bad tummy pains. So I go to the doctors and they're obviously feeling my tummy, being does this hurt, does this hurt, does this hurt? I'm yeah, it really hurts. By this point, the pain had gone. The pain was no longer. Anyway, I then get sent to the hospital and they're doing the same thing. They're does this hurt, does this hurt? And I'm yeah, it really hurts. So they put me forward for an operation to take my appendix out for appendicitis. The whole time, there was no pain. I was just attention seeking because I wanted the operation. But turns out I actually had acute appendicitis. And if they hadn't have operated, it could have ruptured and I could have died. So moral of the story is, being an attention seeker isn't always a bad thing.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
I must have been about 7 or 8 and was at a family wedding. Went up to a great auntie and told her we'd been burgled over 10 times. She was really? And I was yeah. And then she went to speak to my mum. She's Joe, I hope you and the kids are all right. And she was why? Yeah, we're fine, why? Chrissy told me you've been burgled over 10 times recently. Mum was no. And then it turns out I'd just been repeating what's happened to Gail Platt and Corey and I. Oops, I was just an attention-seeking child.
Okay, what's the craziest thing someone's ever lied to you about for attention?
Okay, so it was just this random girl I went to high school with. I went to a very small school, so everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's business. But in freshman year, towards the beginning of the year, this girl, Claire, just started going around telling people that she had leukemia. She just had gotten recently diagnosed within the past few days, and so now she has leukemia, and her family don't know what the treatment plan is or what's gonna happen. Saying all this shit about having cancer, and then some time had passed or something, and then she just she came clean about it, and she was no, I just lied about that. I never had cancer.
Okay, what's the craziest thing someone's ever lied to you about for attention?
There was this girl I used to be really good friends with. We used to chill every weekend. As I got to know her, I started noticing she would make up these lies to be center of attention. She never knew that I knew these lies, so I wanted to see how far she would take it. I guess she started noticing she wasn't center of attention within our group anymore, so all of a sudden she became sick. She kept on with this lie for a long time, and her sickness became cancer. One weekend she said she couldn't chill with us because she had to go out of town to get chemo. All of her friends were so sad and hysterical about it, but I knew what was up. That Friday came and she asked what I was doing with our group of friends. I knew this was my chance to put her on blast. So I told her that there was some huge event going on and a huge after party afterwards. This was back in our club hopping days. She got so excited. She's like, oh, I'm going too. I had one of our friends with me at that time while I was on the phone with her. And we're like, what are you talking about? You got chemo that weekend. She tells us, no, I saw the doctor. He gave me a medicine. I'm good. I'll be there this weekend. We going, right? Bruh.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
When I was in kindergarten, we were all on the carpet, like, sharing what we did this weekend, and then I casually lied that my dad died while parachuting, and that his parachute didn't open, and he is dead now. Yeah, and then my dad showed up to back to school night, like, a week later, and she was like, oh my god, you're alive? And he was, like, really confused, and then they found out I was a conceited liar.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
I was such a little liar in school for some reason. Like, I don't know why. I think I just loved, like, attention. But I told everybody that my cousin was Taylor Swift. Basically, I used to have, like a poster on my bedroom wall of Taylor Swift. And my brother came in one day and was like, oh, she's your cousin. And I was like, oh my god, really? So I told everyone in school that Taylor Swift was my cousin. And then my brother was like, oh, I was only joking or whatever. But I was so embarrassed, so I kept the lie up until, like, 6th class. I also told people that I had Kim Kardashian's number. I think I changed my mom's number in my phone to Kim Kardashian. And I was like, look, I was on the phone with her. I told everyone that my granddad founded Guinness. There's probably so many more. If you were in school with me, please comment something that I lied about, because there were a lot of things.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
Right, whenever I was in, like, first year or something, I was, like, first year, and I pretended that I had a boyfriend called Robbie Jackson, right? I pretended that he was tall, brown hair, blue eyes, braces, and loads of freckles, and he was from Crumlin, right? And and I got bullied a lot in school, right? And a lot of people said to me, oh, you're not going to have a boyfriend, you're so ugly. And then, so obviously I used that for attention and make myself a wee bit cooler than I was, but it didn't actually make me cooler. Nobody believed me anyway. So there's a park beside my house. I went and took a photo of myself in the park. Then I photoshopped a photo and made some random boy up and put him in the photo to make it look like I actually had a boyfriend, so people would stop picking on me. But they didn't stop picking on me, so there was just no point doing it. So yeah, I faked having my own boyfriend.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
I could have got my dad in loads of trouble, man. I was telling people in the school that Osama bin Laden was ringing my dad. This was when they were searching for him, man.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
Alright, quick story time, yeah? You might not find this funny, but I do. Everyone at my school did at the time. I think I was in like year 4, year 5 or something, yeah? And a bunch of us lads were all talking about what cars our dads have. Bear in mind, my dad had a Vauxhall Astra, yeah? Or was it a Peugeot? I'm not too sure at that time. But, so all of us lads are talking. Billy, what car has your dad got? Me, my dad's got a Dodge Viper. Oh, it cost me. Yeah, swear down, bro, cost me. So for months, I promise you, for months, they just kept hassling me. Billy, tell your dad to bring his Dodge Viper down in it to pick you up from school. And I was always like, bro, I can't in it. My dad works late, that's why. So he takes his car to work in it. Until one day. It was a kind of an inside joke for me. Obviously, no Asian lad's dad is going to have a Dodge Viper in 1999. This just proves I've been a joker from day one. One day I had enough, so I bought the Dodge Viper in. It was a small 10-inch model Dodge Viper. When I say they hated,
I got a 1350 on the SAT scores the first time. That was number one, which I wasn't even really expecting. And the second time, I got a little under a 1450. And that's when I was in 10th grade. When I was little, I actually had the chance to meet Kylie Jenner because one of my second aunts she was like on her team. And she invited us to LA, but I didn't get to go because I had school and my mom wouldn't let me miss. Let me see him. Oh, yeah, I hooked up with him and his friend. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really said it out loud, so I could see how you wouldn't know that, so you wouldn't, actually hit him up. But yeah, it was a time. I don't know. I feel like if you bring it up to him, he wouldn't really remember, so maybe not. Also, like, it was such a long time ago. It's not like he wouldn't remember in a bad way. Just remember, like, because it was a long time ago, you know, with time and distance and stuff. See that guy over there? We almost had a thing. So.
Weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
I definitely win this challenge. So basically, yeah, when I was like 7 years old, when H2O was a little thing, and they used to touch water and turn into a mermaid. So I used to brag to my sister that, like, I used to turn into a mermaid sometimes when I got water on me. So she always flicked water on me. This is my little sister, by the way. She always flicked water on me, and I'd run up to the bathroom. And, like, I'd pretend I'd turned into a mermaid. I'd fall on the floor and make a bang, and then put, like, a towel between, like, the gaps of the door, like that, sort of like in a flip away, to, like, make it look like I had fins. So, yeah, even when I went swimming, I used to swim like a mermaid, like that, to try and prove my point that I was a mermaid.
What is the weirdest thing that you lied about when you were younger for attention?
When I was 14, I got hit in the head by the student who was swinging his bag around, and I went to the teacher and I was like, oh my god, I can't hear anything, I need to go home, even though I could hear everything. Anyway, they sent me home, and my mum and dad were trying to speak to me, and I was like, I can't hear what you're saying, even though I could. I just wanted more time off school. Anyway, they booked me in to see a specialist consultant the next day, who put 2 big earphones at the side of my head, and they did this responsive test where you play a sound and you press a button and see if you can hear it, and it was really faint and it went louder and louder, and I was like, I still can't hear it, oh my god, I'm so freaked out. Anyway, they pressed the last one, and I was like, I can just about hear that, and he turned to mum and dad and said, he's got the hearing span of an 86-year-old, we might need to fit him for a hearing aid. And it was just to get more time off school. I'm such a knob.